There are 13 energy centers in and outside of your body, below your feet and above your head. They're called your chakras. Your chakras govern your reality. They make your life happen. They're fueled by your subconscious thought, your life force, your action, sexual energy that exists in all of us, creating from the vibration that flows within us. Constant, consistent creation, directed by the choices that we make. You have the right to be who you're supposed to be, so what's it gonna be? You are the master of your vibration. Feed your mind for elevation. There is no time for contemplation. The time is now. So what's it gonna be?
It's going to be learning your whole entire chakra system. That's what it's going to be. Learning about it, knowing how everything functions so that you could flow in your life. Hola, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's Master Vibration 13 private study of yourself. We're doing the 9 chakra spiritual cleanse. And today is the day that we're working on the Solar Plexus. And this has been a very intense and interesting season of chakra learning for us because it started out with 9 days and now we are on week 4 of this intense training. And what we've been doing is we've been going deep into all of the energy centers and learning about how they work, what they pertain to, and how we're able to activate, cleanse, and balance them. So every week has been a little bit different, and this week is going to be the same in being different. So, first of all, Solution, how are you doing today? I am happy to hear that. Today we have a very special guest who is going to be taking us into the world of the Solar Plexus chakra, this yellow chakra that exists in the middle of our, well, actually it's right above the sacral, which is right by above the navel. That's where the solar plexus are. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Minister Ojeyemi. Hola, welcome.
Greetings.
You know, I wanna say, because I didn't mention that Minister Ojeyemi is from the Ministry of Queen Mother's Sacred Ancestral Palace, and she does womb healing. She does more than womb healing. Minister Ojeyemi, can you tell us a little bit about what you do in your work?
I do Reiki, which is energy work. I do pranic healing, which is energy work also. I do womb restoration, and I also do ancestral consultations.
Ancestral consultations.
Right, ancestral consultations. Then the ancestral consultations is when people don't have an understanding, or I'm going to use the word understanding instead of understanding, because we don't stand under anything, or overstanding of exactly how to go about setting up an ancestral shrine or ancestral altar, or even the things that it would take to even the beginning of what your ancestors are, who your ancestors are. Some of us don't have a clue of exactly what the word ancestor means. You have ancestors who are virtuous and righteous. You have some who aren't. And there's different things you do for the virtuous and righteous versus the ones who did live a virtuous and righteous life. So that's how I help with the ancestral consultation.
Very interesting.
The womb restoration. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And the womb restoration is for sisters who have had trauma in the womb, trauma with their womb, or a lot of times if you haven't had any trauma, some of us don't know how to actually contact our womb, or how important she is, or the role she plays, the wisdom, the cycle, the wisdom, the creation, the life. When you start out, you sing the song about I am creation, I am animation, I am life. That's the womb.
Mm-hmm.
So we were never, growing up, our mothers always told us, don't have sex with boys. But the reason she was saying is because the womb is sacred. It is to bring forth life. It is to bring forth creation. It is to bring forth ideas. It is the fruit. So we were never taught how powerful she is, how sacred she is. So that's what womb restoration is, to restore you back to your sacredness.
Mm-hmm. I am so grateful for the work that you do, because it's something, when I'm hearing you talk about it, there's so much that we weren't told, so much that we didn't learn about ourselves, and to have people that are dedicating their life into teaching others about their true selves and how to heal and how to practice their self-healing is such a powerful thing. So I'm so happy to have you here with us and sharing the work that you do. So thank you so much for that. You've been with us doing this work since April 1st in terms of the chakra cleanse and what we're doing with this. Why did you choose the solar plexus to present?
To me, the solar plexus is the seat of the power. It's the seat of your soul. So often we hear people say, oh, I'm powerful, I got the power. But do you really have a true understanding of exactly what power is and how powerful we really are? So that's why I chose the solar plexus. It's also where infinite intelligence sits. It's where our emotions are. It's also where our digestive tract is. It's where our liver is. So, and they all go hand in hand, starting with the earth star, the root, and the sacral. They all play this. There's those three, to me, are our foundation.
I would have to agree with you on that. It's amazing how integral each of them are to each other.
Yes.
I wanna share with everyone the book that we've been studying from, the Rachel Chairman book, and just what she says about the solar plexus as we move forward in this. So the solar plexus it vibrates to the color yellow. The ancient Sanskrit name for the solar plexus chakra is Manipura, and there are other names for this. I know that there's a Hebrew name for it. I mean, there's a lot of different names for the chakra system. I just had to make sure and point that out. But of course, today we're going according to this book, so this is what I'm sharing as the Sanskrit name. It is located around or slightly above the navel. This chakra is our main power center. It represents our free will and is where we draw the energy for our personal power, confidence, courage, and strength. It reflects the emotional body and our desire to attain a healthy self-esteem. When our solar plexus chakra is healthy and in balance, we feel inspired to express ourselves freely and shine our light on the world. We feel empowered in all areas of our life and have the strength and determination to support our own goals, dreams, and desires. When we are aligned with our power and are in tune with self-mastery and personal commitments, we are able to attain a deep respect for ourselves and others. We know we are worthy of good and can express joy into our life and out into the world. And this energy center relates to personal power, inner strength, self-mastery, determination, empowerment, confidence, self-discipline, free will, self-esteem, courage, confidence, freedom, emotional balance, appropriate self-discipline. The solar plexus, for me, is a huge one that I look at, and I look at how out of balance it is in the world, because when your solar plexus is out of balance, sometimes it could be an effect. It could have an effect of low confidence if it's out of balance, but it also has the effect of super confidence. Like, when you're so confident, you think you know something, but you really don't know. And so you're constantly arguing with people about, and you're so confident about what you know, but what you know is not really solid. You want to argue about it. And so this is in your solar plexus. And this is what we were talking about a little bit prior to, going live, is we were just talking about people that are in the religious sector, quote unquote religious sector, the old time what religion was, the denominations, the fake Christianity and all of these different things that exist. It's like people, they feel so strongly about what they believe, that they just want to beat you down with it. They want to beat you down with it because it's their truth. So what would you say, Ojeyemi, that would be a good technique or a good thing that someone could do when they have like an overactive solar plexus? Or how do you know? I know that I mentioned one example, but what are other ways that you know when your solar plexus is just out of whack, out of balance?
How do you feel? Okay. You can truly tell us how you feel about your self-worth. How do you feel about yourself? Or me being a child of molestation, I didn't know my intrinsic self-worth. I didn't know my value. So therefore, I wouldn't really, I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel worthy. Mm-hmm. I didn't know my worth. I didn't know my value. I didn't know exactly how to, I didn't have a great sense of purpose. I didn't have a true sense of what it meant to be powerful. I didn't have a true sense to know my divinity or how to use my will.
Mm. So were you really shy? Were you really like soft-spoken? Is that how it was playing out for you?
I was an introvert. I knew, I worked in corporate America, so of course you do the work thing, but totally I was angry, mean, spiteful, hateful. All those are the things that I had inside of me in my solar plexus. And I'm going to call it the Ra. And I really joke because solar means sun, Ra. So that I carried all of that inside of me because I had no idea of my emotions, didn't know how to control them. So I would lash out in anger. I had hatred for myself first, didn't have a great love for myself or even understanding of who I was. Mm-hmm. I didn't enjoy being a sister or I don't like to use the word female or feminine, but I didn't enjoy being a woman. Mm-hmm. Because of the sacral and because of the root. Those had never been healed. So if those had never been healed, then if they're out of order, then why not my solar plexus is going to be out of order?
How long did it take you to discover what these energy centers in your bodies were? How did you learn what it was inside you that was out of balance?
Marty, one day I was in corporate America working, and I came home from work, and my mother told me that my sons, I had 2 children young, saw my drugs on the plate. So I was into drugs and, just going to work, closet junkie, closet addict. And when she said that, Marty, it's just like something just ran through me. And my sister friend at work had lost her daughter, and I was on my back porch laying down. And all of a sudden, her daughter appeared to me and said, come go with me. I said, And I began to pray. And at that time, I only knew God and I only knew Jesus. And I said, God, if you take this bitter cup from me, I will serve you for the rest of my life. Go to work the next day morning, and I meet this sister. Now, this sister, I've been seeing her. We've been working together for years, but we never had a conversation. So she sits down. She said, can I sit with you? So she said, I said, yeah. So she sits down, and we just started talking. And I began to share the things that the things I was going through, about to lose my job and everything. And she gave me this tape by Les Brown called Go Forward. And I started going to Christ Universal Temple, which is the late Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman. So I'm going to speed it up because I could go forever. And I was, like I said, I was child molestation, hatred, anger, strung out on drugs, stealing, whatever I could do, that's what I was doing. And I had met these sisters, and Marty, I came to them, and I was trying to get healing with my sexual molestation, but at the time, the black women didn't want to hear that. We didn't talk about that. That was just a taboo subject. You don't say that.
Yeah.
And I never told my mother or any of my sisters. So I met this white girl at work, Marty, and she took me to a center on the north side called Healing Earth. They closed now. Mm-hmm. And there began the journey.
Wow.
And so I would go there. They had all kind of teachers coming in, and they had all kind of services. And I never forget, there was this Japanese monk, and he was speaking full Japanese, and I got a session with him, and he had an interpreter. And he told me that I needed to start to speak my truth, and that with no attachment, because I had no voice. And then he told her to tell me about my chakras. Mm-hmm. And then start with the root chakra and work that, and just start doing it all. And that's how I found out about the energy centers. Uh-huh. And I took the City Yoga. I started studying with the City Yoga people. I started studying with Paramahansa Yogananda, Kriya Yoga. That's how I got started.
Such powerful information, to know about this chakra system. I think Solution has a question.
Sister Ojeyemi, Minister Ojeyemi, Minister Ojeyemi. I'm sorry.
Greetings, Minister Solution.
Greetings. I have a question. So, in regards to the solar plexus chakra, how do you, or what techniques do you use to activate it?
Well, crystals. There's movement that you can do with the body. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called the twirling devilish. And they do this dance where they twirl. And the twirl takes you into the spirit. When you twirl, it takes you to the spirit realm. But also you can use a hula hoop. You could just movements on your hips. There are seed sounds for the chakras. And Ram is the seed sound for the solar plexus. Chanting that, chanting the vowel sounds, giving myself Reiki energy, sitting in the seat of my solar plexus, actually sitting in it and going in there and asking it, divine infinite intelligence, reveal to me what I need to know about my solar plexus. Give me the secrets, give me the sacredness of my solar plexus. And knowing that it's the seat of my emotion, if that's the seat of my emotion, that means that I have to go into those emotions and actually see if where the anger is. Instead of taking that anger and using it to hurt or harm, take that anger, channel it, and send it upward to propel me, to move me to rise, so that I can channel that energy and to make it beneficial instead of making it unbeneficial.
Thank you.
So there's all kind of ways, but everybody uses a yellow stone, a yellow crystal. But to me, there's a crystal called the iNFiNiONaiRE. It's called the pearl of fire. If you lay that on your solar plexus, you will begin to feel the shift. Even chanting the sound, the seed sounds, and chanting the vowels, breathing into the solar plexus.
The solar plexus is a energy center that is in deep need of activation at this time, because it's the center that holds your personal power, and you need to have your personal power so that you can connect to your source. And making that connection to source, we've been in a world where everybody is accustomed to a guide or somebody to follow, somebody to tell you what to do, somebody to, that's going to show you. And now we're being called to be that power on our own. So our personal power, it all derives from our solar plexus. So being able to have this energy center activated and be able to make that communication crystal clear is essential for moving forward in your evolution of healing the other ones as well. Because one of the things that the solar plexus is for me, it's my, in learning about it, I definitely notice the differences. Like for you, the imbalance was, feeling not so confident and feeling introverted. And for me, my imbalance was coming out as an extrovert, having, the mouth and having to, I'm able to speak and there's power in my words and how I speak. So a lot of times I would lean on that and lean on that falsely. It's like this false sense of confidence because I'm able to speak well. So then in a situation, I might be able to get away with saying something that I don't know because I'm so well spoken. And so then when you really go into your learning about what this energy center is, and you're taking accountability for how it's functioning in you, for me, it was good to be able to see that within myself and to see how just because I'm confident, it doesn't mean that my solar plexus is balanced.
And now you speak about that, Minister Mari. So many people, energy. And I talk to sisters and brothers all the time. I'm like, you can act like you know something and you can act like you got confidence, but if you really pay attention, the energy of a person, your energy is going to show exactly who you are. So I tell sisters all the time, because that's my ministry really deals with is, you out here breaking the funk but you leak it everywhere. And people can see your leakage. They might not say anything to you.
Right.
Because when you truly are speaking from a point of, I ask sisters all the time, I ask people, when you word sound, which is mean speak, where are you speaking from? When you word sounding, where are you word sounding from? Where is that coming from in your body?
Yeah.
Because if you word sounding from a particular energy center in your body, when you're speaking truth, it's going to ring loud. And when you're not speaking truth, it's not going to ring. And what I have experienced is when you're truly speaking the truth, people are not going to want to be around you.
Yeah.
When you're speaking a half truth, people will flock to you. We like glitz and glamour. Mm-hmm. We like pretty packages and pretty bold. And that pretty package and that pretty bold might not have no sense of awareness, but it can camouflage itself. It's a chameleon. Mm-hmm. Well, we have been trained to like the prettiness. We've been trained to like the big words. We've been trained because people are great, how should I say, very good at speaking, but go with what the energy says.
Yeah.
Watch the energy, because that person is going to tell you exactly who they are.
Yeah. And we have been trained to be very fake too. That whole term, fake it till you make it. And, driving the right car, living in the right house to show that you have something, to make people think that you have whatever it is that you're wanting them to think that you have. And it's like all of that is over now. And I don't know if people really realize how serious it is now, that it's like the emperor in the naked clothes. Like, we can see that you're naked. We can see you fully for who you are. And that's why it's just so powerful to be able to take accountability for things, because that's how you heal. That's how you learn. When you spend so much time saying, nope, that wasn't me. That's not it. I don't even know what you're talking about. That's, it's like you just keep ignoring the situation, and you keep being the way that you are, even when people are confronting you about a situation, and to not be able to see it. That's definitely solar plexus out of balance. The ego is very connected to the solar plexus.
Yes. And another way of taking is activating is taking full responsibility. When you take responsibility for your thoughts, your words, your actions, your deeds, and your reactions, when you take full responsibility for everything that you create, that's another form of power. When you allow, when you allow and let yourself to be still, and to keep that stillness, that's another form of power.
That's that emotional balance.
So often we give our power away to people. If someone says, I don't like you, or they say something about you, or they say, who cares? Who cares what they say about you? Who cares what they think about you? Who cares? So if someone says something about you, and that's not the truth of you, why would you respond to that? That means you just said that I'm not self-assured. I don't know my self-worth. I don't know my intrinsic value. So that person has triggered something, an emotion that you need to see. And the first thing you want to do is get mad at the person, but that person is truly your friend, because someone got to bring you the strip. Someone got to show you where you are. We get I'm spiritual and I'm powerful and I'm God and I'm this. But the minute someone does something that you don't like, where's that spiritual, where's that power, where's that God at then?
Oh, no, that goes away.
We own the journey. Yeah, we own the journey. And we say, and you don't think that you're going to be tested? You don't think that that's a part of showing you who you are? Because when they bring it to you, you have a choice. You can say, thank you. Love yourself through that experience, or you say, maybe there's something I need to see here. Because if it's not something that I need to see, then it wouldn't have been brought to me. Mm-hmm. What is this piece of karma that I need to see about myself? Yeah. So instead of us looking inward, we look outward, and we get upset. But I tell people, that person is your friend. Love them. Love it. Because it's something you need to see.
Absolutely. Sometimes, it's good to say, if somebody, because we can say somebody doesn't like you, I don't care, but there's sometimes that you do care. And so in those times, if somebody says that, it might be a good idea to say, why? Why is it that you don't like me? So that I could learn the why. And then after that, then I could decide whether I'm really going to care or not. But, it is good to go deep. And I think it just comes from us being so groomed for perfection and having to be perfect and having to be, this type of person. And there aren't any allowances for mistakes in our society. I mean, we always have that saying of, you can forgive people for their mistakes, but that's not the type of society that we exist in. I mean, our jail system is a perfect example of that. You do something wrong and you go in there one time, your whole life is over, because you're not going to, it's a stain that lives with you forever. And for some people it should, depending on what they do. But for most people, it shouldn't be like that, because that's this world is.
But we know that's a design.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a design.
And that's why the world is so jacked up.
Right. When people say, well, she don't like me, or how do you know? Maybe it's something that she see in you or they see in you that they don't see in themselves. So the thing is not to come down to their level, it's to raise them up and tell them, oh, you can do the same things I do. You know, you can do this. I always make sure that when I'm in my sessions in my practice, I always tell, I beg sisters, I beg people up. I tell them, you can do this. You know, the same thing I'm doing, you can do.
Absolutely.
And when you honor and when you magnify each other, and when you do that, you know, that lets, I'm a sharer by nature. And when you're sharing and you show people where you come from, then they have a better understanding of why you do what you do. Because if I'm married, why would I go to an unmarried person for some advice?
Right.
Does that really make sense?
Not really.
If you have been through nothing, no. If you haven't been through anything, how are you going to help somebody who going through if you have never been through that? So to a person who's never had a piece of trauma, they can't help somebody in a trauma situation. That's why you have the psychiatrists, and what are they really doing? It has to be spiritual, Marty, and that's just it. We don't look at it from a spiritual perspective.
Yeah.
We always look at it from the physical.
Right. And this is why I feel that the solar plexus is so powerful in our perception and us being able to make that connection with infinite intelligence, because it is that voice, it's that thing that's in our gut that tells us what we know. We just have to get conditioned now to believe it and to trust it, because we have been trained not to trust our gut and not to believe in ourselves. And it's been a lot of work that has been done against us. So this work that we're doing it's a lot. It's a lot that has to happen within each individual to be able to get to that point of, well, I was going to say healed, but we know that we're never healed as long as we're here. We're always healing from something. But even though we have been suppressed for so long, it's not going to take 1,000,000, 1,000 years for us to get better. It happens in an instant. And the solar plexus has a great deal to do with it, because it's that fire, it's that spark, it's that when you make the decision to do or not to do, that's where it's coming from.
Yes. And then you add your will to your power. Because the power is the ability to do. And the will is the determination. So when you combine the will and the power together, that's a marriage. Mm-hmm. That's your subconscious and your conscious. So often, because our solar plexus, the raw center is our subconscious. So the majority of us will say, I'm going to do this. But have you checked in with your subconscious? Have you talked to your subconscious? Have you talked to your earth star? Have you talked to your root chakra? Have you talked to your sacral? So how are you moving? You're moving not in harmony, because you have not consulted with your solar plexus. You haven't consulted to say, we're going to do this. Let's sit. And that's what I say. When you sit in the seat, when we sit down and say, okay, solar plexus, subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. You have the power. So we think the conscious got the power, but it's really the solar plexus that has the power.
Yeah.
And we go in and we tap into that, and we realize that that's where our power sits, and everything that moves because the solar plexus says, the subconscious says, okay. So when we go into that subconscious and we do divine infinite intelligence in that subconscious, and we act, and we make and that's when we move to that we. But so many of us move to the me and the mind, but never the we. Mm-hmm. So it's the subconscious and the conscious, just like it's the heart and the mind. Mm-hmm. So when you create the conscious and the sub, because it's all creation and it's all ours. So, and like when you said that you might not get healed, but you can bring it to a place of wholeness where when that piece of trauma comes, you're not crying, you're not weeping, you're not moaning, and you're not triggered by it. Mm-hmm. You can word sound or you can speak about it and carry no emotion to it. That's when you know that you've come to a place, you've brought it to a place of wholeness. Mm-hmm. And isn't that what we hear? Isn't that the master plan to resurrect the God in man? Absolutely. That's truly the master plan.
And I'm so glad.
But for some reason, okay. I get excited.
I get excited too. I was just gonna say, I'm so glad that you said that, because it reminds me to celebrate those little things that shows us that we're getting farther by not allowing those triggers to shoot us down. You know, it's like there's so many things that have been happening in my life, and I've just been so proud of myself at my non-reaction, my emotional balance. It's been great for me, because, you know, when you are raised in a certain kind of environment and a certain kind of culture, and I'm not talking about even one specific cultures, but all cultures have, you know, they're like things, you know, and all of these things that have been created within our cultures have all been wrong. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say all wrong, because the foundation has been jacked up. So now we are being asked to redevelop and to redefine ourselves, but based on the knowledge that we have of ourselves. That is going to be the best way that we can create ourselves, by knowing ourselves and having this knowledge. So having to erase and eliminate everything that was and do something completely new, that definitely, absolutely, 100% requires for your solar plexus to be in balance, so that you're able to make these decisions moving forward in your life as to how you're going to function. Because we're living in a space right now where people don't know what to do, Ojeyemi. People don't know what to do. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what's going on, what's happening. And the only solution is your self-knowledge. And I know that some people would think, how in the world is that a solution? Like, who got time? You know, because they look at this spiritual thing as something that's just, if you got time, you go sit and meditate. Or if you don't got other things in the world to think about, then you can take time off and think about those things. Because they look at those things as just, you know, it's like a luxury that they're not able to access.
Yes. And, okay, and while you were saying that, so many of us, I don't know what word I would use this, we put our spirituality on a shelf. Mm-hmm. When things are going good, we don't meditate, we don't pray, we just, you know, things are going good. So, okay, I'm out here. But as our Minister Solutions likes to talk about, the principle of polarity, that's my greatest one. I love that one. As surely as you're going up, as surely as the well is running through it, that well is going to ebb on down. And where are you going to be when things aren't going so well? And that's when you're going to take your spirituality off the shelf.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, and this is the new moon, and that's why I chose this new moon to do the solar plexus, because the new moon is for bringing in new things and new ideas. But I'll ask, how many of us wrote down, because, you know, the new moon is for when anything you want to start something, you always start at the new moon. So I bet you, ask how many people wrote down things that they want, versus going inward to the solar plexus, going inward to the energy centers and saying, okay, new moon, help me, show me what I need to see about my earth star, my root, my sacral, my solar plexus, my heart, my throat, my first eye, my crown. How many of us do that? How many of us really go inward? Because a lot of us are so outward. We're carping to the big houses, the money, the cars. We're carping to all of those things, and they're just things. Can you take those things with you when you decide to leave this earth plane of consciousness?
Nope.
I ask people all the time, I say, what does it mean for you to say that you're God? I'm going to use the word God because I really like to say divine. What does it mean to be God? What does that really mean when you say you're God? Because if you say you God, God doesn't need anything. God doesn't have a desire. God doesn't have a want. God just is. Mm-hmm. So when you don't have to seek, you don't have to ask, just be. Because when you truly are God, then God is the creator. So you have people, when they created, I created this. Okay, well, isn't that you're the creator? Isn't that your responsibility? So how you bring things into fruition all the time. And we talk about the gifts. To me, the gifts are so important that people forgot about the fruits. The gifts, everybody is gifted. We all have gifts. The omniverse is no respect of persons. Well, what fruit do you bear? Is your fruit ripe? Is it aged? Is it mature? Is it falling off the tree? Is it dried up and withered? What fruit do you bear? But we're caught up into the gifts because society told us, well, if can you see? But those are small things. And when you start on the spiritual journey, the gifts automatically come. That's the first thing you receive is the gifts. But the fruits are earned. Now, ask this question. What does it mean to be God? We don't have a clue. Because we're so busy trying to get something or trying to get rid of something. So I don't ask the omniverse for anything. I just be. And it will give you whatever you need because it knows the more inward you go, the more the fountain overflows.
Going deep, going inside.
It knows what you have a need of. Yes. The omniverse knows what you have need of. It never fails. Perfect example. Look at the iSyndicate. Look how we flow in harmony. I can't say the word, but look how the synchronicity, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, synchronicity.
Yeah. It just flows. So, and we're in different places, but you can't, I don't like you, I need to slow down because there's words that I'm taking out of the word sound. Can't, not, is a word that should not. Not is a word I have to the word sound out because it's a not a great word to use.
Yeah.
But we are powerful, but we have no clue to actually what that means. And if we taught our daughters and our sons about the power and how it's not to use to hurt or harm, but to uplift and to raise and to bring out people in harmony. Marty, we're the most loving beings on the planet. Notice how you said each race of beings brings something to the planet. Well, ours bring love. We're the most unconditional loving beings on the planet. But we use that love to, how should I say, unwisely. I'll love you if you do this. Or I'll love you if you do that. Well, why not love somebody unconditional, whether they do it or whether they do it not? Just love them. I live with my triggers every day, Marty. And like we were saying earlier, and because I live with my triggers every day, that means I have to consciously and subconsciously be aware so that I am aware of when it's a trigger and when it's not. Because if I don't pause for the cause, and if I don't breathe, I fight off that piece of karma. I'm all in it.
You know, you talk
being powerful.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said being powerful also means being aware.
Yeah.
Of everything. Yeah. Daily being aware all day. Where I'm, in the now. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's going on here?
when you say that, it's like that's what's been happening with this 9 chakra spiritual cleanse, is that it has caused us to be so aware of everything at all times. And it's it's constant training. It's a constant study, and it's something that you can't put it down, especially now. There were times back in the day where people would say, "Oh, I'm gonna start going to church. I'm gonna go to the Lord," and maybe they would go and they'd go, for a couple of months maybe, and then they'd fall off, and then you fall off until the next thing. And now, as soon as you speak that you want to heal yourself and you're asking for healing and cleansing, and so it is. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen nonstop. It's not going to stop. And what happens is when you try to put it away, you just make your life a little more chaotic, because it's like now you open the door and now you're trying to close it, and it doesn't really work like that. And we have a lot of time to, I'm careful when I say the word time, because there really is no time, but there is a lot to do in regards to our self-healing, because that is the solution of the world for people to self-heal. It's going to take a minute for people to get it, because we get into this construct of teaching, even when we're talking about teaching our children. And look, we have taught our children everything that we've been able to teach them. Just like I'm sure my mom probably feels like she taught me everything that she was able to teach me as well. But then we get into the other layer, that there is beyond your parents and your family and the people that you were born into, is this connection with Source that goes beyond anything and anyone. So, sometimes we think that we could, if we train people. I know with Master Vibration 13, I really was feeling like, all right, we'll put this together, and we can help people, we can show people, and we can teach people. But see, that whole teaching and showing and stuff, the way that it was, it's old school. It's not because people don't trust other people anymore, and for good reason. So now we're being called to do this work on ourselves. So even as we're teaching our children, we have to be able to release the fact that, they don't belong to us, and they have to have their own experiences as well. So the best thing that we could teach our offspring is to learn their internal systems, because in that way there is you can't go wrong. Like, I'm so happy that we taught our daughter the way that we did, because our daughter, she's not often believes something totally different than us, but our daughter doesn't have a super deep spiritual experience. And let me tell you this happens with a lot of people that have, a lot of people in my age group. When you have children and you're giving your children everything that you didn't have, and you're really wanting to make their lives as easy as possible, and not to say that we made our daughter's life as easy as, well, we made it as easy as possible for us. However, when we're giving so much and we're trying to take care of so much, we remove the opportunity for them to go through things that require them to connect to that spiritual sense of having a deeper foundation. Because spirituality is not something that you could teach. Spirituality is something that develops within an individual as they have their experiences in life. And so when you go through what you go through, what I'm saying? It's like it takes some time for you to develop those spiritual aspects of yourself, and we can't rush those things.
Yes. No, but and when I say give your, you I have a friend, and he doesn't read books. I'm an avid reader, and on the journey I had thousands and thousands of books, and we were word sounding one day. He says, I have another name, Mutemuya. Don't read another book. He said, what did you say? Don't read another book. I don't read. Okay. I stopped reading books, the spiritual books. And then And then I realized I am the book some people will only ever read.
Yes.
How I live my life, how I go through life is what people will see.
Yes.
I worked in corporate America for 40 years, but in that, once I started on my spiritual journey, I brought it to corporate America. I didn't say anything to them, who I was or what I was. I just was being.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, when you choose to live a different life, when you choose to live in the spiritual, energy goes before you, and people can see who you are because they pay attention. You'd be surprised how people pay attention to things. Oh, you don't do this, and you do this, and you do that. So when I agree. I didn't bring my spiritual journey to my children, but I allowed them to have church because I grew up in a traditional family. So I was already the outcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want my children to have that stigma. So I allowed them to have church. Now I'm sharing my wisdom with them. And I share things with them. So when your child has their purpose and their destiny also, they choose to come through you to heal the karma, whatever karma that you have together. That comes for healing to take place and to rise so you can transcend that. But if you give your child the basic foundation of love and all that, they come back to that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come back to that.
Do your children follow?
Everybody.
I'm sorry. Do your children follow your path now, or?
Well, my oldest, yes. My youngest, and he's truly the shaman, the youngest.
Uh-huh.
But he's, how should I say, he won't apply himself.
Mm-hmm.
But the vision I hold of him is he's divine.
Yeah.
That's the vision I hold of everybody. You're divine. And when you choose to come into your divine incarnation, fine. If you choose not to come into your divine incarnation, fine with that too. And it took me a long time to be able to have that harmony, even with other people. When I first started on the path, Minister Ojeyemi, I wanted everybody to get it. I wanted everybody to have it. Because, you start out, you feeling this joy, this energy, and this everything is flowing, and you want to share it with the world.
Yeah.
But I had to realize that this is a choice, and everybody didn't want the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, if you choose to have it, fine. If you choose not to have it, I'm okay with that. And that's even with my children. I'll share, and I'll ask, did you get this? Did you look at it? If they say no, I'm okay with that. Even now, I'm going to continue to share until I can't share until I'm a pour. I'm going to pour.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no expectations of the outcome. None. I share in my practice. You could kick rocks with what I'm giving you. You can do whatever you want to do with this. That's your business. Mm-hmm. My business is to give and to share. And that's the worst. Because if I'm in your business, I'm not in my business. And that's all I share with you.
I was just gonna say, let's talk about that really quick in regards to the solar plexus and sharing, because I know for me that's a big one to where I always felt like I had to share. I had to share. But here's what happened when I was sharing so much. Then I started getting mad because the people that I was sharing, or I had this expectation along with my sharing, right? So it's like I wanted to share, but I wanted for people to receive it, and they were not receiving it. And so them not receiving it was causing me to have issues, which meant that I was having imbalance where? In my solar plexus.
Your solar plexus.
So isn't it just so interesting that once you learn what these energy centers do and how they work within you, it makes it so much easier for us to self-diagnose these things. And I think that being able to sit the ego down somewhere, because you can never get rid of it, it makes it a lot easier to work with yourself because you're not
Yeah.
hiding anymore. You're able to say, okay, this is what it is. Because it took me a minute. But I think that with me, because I like for people to take accountability, I really hold myself in a high regard for taking accountability. And I deal with it's an embarrassment that you go through. It's this whole ego thing that you go through, being wrong or being so stern about something that you were doing. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, you were doing the wrong thing. And then it's just like, you feel a little humiliation in that when you're taking accountability, and that's just part of it as well. But I just wanted to point that out in how, when we're going through life, and even in just talking about the things that we're talking about today, it just puts that highlight on the solar plexus to show us how that's playing out in everything that we do. And choice is the biggest one that you talked about, because we all have that choice. And I love it when you say that we're divine and you can reach your divinity whenever you choose to, because there's nothing truer than that. I yield.
That's our birthright.
It absolutely
is. Omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, and omniopulence are our divine birthright.
And so
it's the essence of who we are.
Mm-hmm. I'm Minister Ojeyemi. If someone wanted to do work with you, how could they find you?
Oh, well, you can find me under Master Vibration Liar 13, ING Web's private study group. Also, I'm not going to get my number out, but you can find me there. And that's how you can find me.
Yes, thank you. That's the best place to find.
You're welcome.
Minister Ojeyemi.
Yes, but I want to I just want to thank you. I'm Minister Marty, and I'm Minister Solutions 13, for giving us the sacred space, for giving us the unconditional love, for giving us the opportunity to be a part of something that's so bigger than all of us, that's so magnificent, that's so grand, to be sovereign, to be in a private self-state where you're free to be, where you're able to stay. Well, you got to do this, and you got to do it this way. And, when you allow, so I give thanks for Master Vibration Liar 13. I give thanks for each and every one of our ministers in the iSyndicate, because with this 9 chakra cleanse, if you think it's easy, try it. Just try it. If you think it's nothing to this and we just talking, try it. And I can guarantee you, just like we thought, and we can do it in 1 week, and we realized it was deeper, we just didn't even scratch the surface, and this is our 4th week. No.
Yeah.
Because the deeper you go, there's more.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even more. And we're doing it, we're co-creating the harmony, the love.
Yes. I'm really grateful.
Thank you all.
I'm really grateful for you. I'm Minister Ojeyemi, and your heart and your discipline and your willingness, your will to be here and to be present, because this is something that it's experimental, if you will. There's a lot of services that are, doing different things with people, and we just got moved to do this in this way, and we know that we're preparing something for the long haul. And so it's been amazing just to kind of work through the experiment and be available to people. Anyone out there that's listening to this, that's ready to start on your 9 chakra spiritual cleanse, you can come to Master Vibration 13, and you can connect with Minister Ojeyemi. You can connect with myself, and you can connect with Minister Solution. I will be happy to talk to you about coming into the private study of yourself. This is a private service that we offer to people who are interested in going deep into their self-healing, not just for now or a few months from now, but from now until. And so we've been dedicated to this mission for a very, very long time, and we'll continue to do so. So if you want to know more about it, you're welcome to come to Master Vibration 13 and check out everything that we have going on there. But if you're really serious about your private practice, then you want to come into the private study of yourself, and we'll be happy to offer you a 15-minute consultation to see if this makes sense for you. And we have other practitioners here at Master Vibration 13, such as Minister Ojeyemi, with different gifts, different things that they connect to, that you might be able to connect to those things as well. So it's what we're developing here, what we're showing you guys with this cleanse is just some of the different personalities and the different energies that we have here at Master Vibration 13 self-healing layer. We are making sure that you get to know us on a deeper level, because it's not easy to heal with somebody, and we know that. The way that we work it out here is that you have to do it yourself. But yes, if you have someone that you can connect to, that you can talk to, that you can relate to a little bit, it makes the journey a little bit easier. So if you're interested in moving forward, you can definitely send us a text at 818-233-5776. Once again, that number is 818-233-5776. Text us there. Let us know that you're ready for your 9 chakra spiritual cleanse, and we'll have somebody contact you with the time for a consultation as soon as possible. I say this every week, there's a lot going on in the world. We're going to be continuing this work here at Master Vibration 13. Solution, do you have anything that you want to share with the group today?
I can say that good things are ahead, and it is definitely about working and putting in the effort and the energy to vibe in a positive vibration, to feel whole, to feel powerful, to feel as if you're to feel that you're in the driver's seat.
Absolutely.
So, yes, the challenges that it's definitely it's appearing to be something that is negative, just the picture, but through going through the challenge and through walking through the picture, you're going to get the detoxification and the evolution on the other side.
Absolutely. And just know that there is a wealth transfer that's happening right now, and this is how we're getting prepared for it. You're getting prepared to receive your wealth through the work that you're doing with yourself, on yourself.
Yes.
So I want to thank you all so much for tuning in tonight and for listening to this later on. Feel free to pass this on to anyone that you know that might be needing help with their chakra system and wanting to self-heal. I'm Minister Ojeyemi. Would you share the last words with us and close us out, please?
We sit in the sea of gratitude and gratefulness and thankfulness. We thank all our esteemed elders. We thank all our virtuous and righteous ancestors in our bloodline. We just give thanks. So often we don't say thank you. So often we aren't sitting in the seat of gratitude and gratefulness. We magnify each other, lift each other up. And what we have built, we're building. And what we're building here, we're sending out to the universe to make it whole and complete. Knowing that we walk in divinity, knowing that we are divine, knowing that all is well and well indeed, and we give thanks. Ashe, Amen Ra, Mayat.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Gracias.
When I feel the sound of music vibrating in me, I take hold of the energy and ride the frequency. My soul makes the melody of my life, so I must see. Every tune that comes through me brings balance to my being. I have the power to change the direction in me through sound. I have the power to change the direction in me through my mind. I am creation, I am animation, I am the brightest vibrant star in all of the constellations. I am zip, pepper, sass, punch, bounce, moxie, mojo, whatever you call it. I am Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. Ajay, Ajay, Ajay. 13 Ajay, Ajay, Ajay. 13 Ajay. Ajay, Ajay. Ajay, 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 Ajay. 13 Ajay, Ajay, Ajay. 13 Ajay. Ajay,
That was fantastic.